Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of this discussion. We'll be discussing about two, three such cases which are like, if you hear about it, you're like, why the hell someone is doing something like this? Such a basic issue, so small, but large companies, even stock market listed companies, still doing that kind of mistake and falling for a bigger trouble.
Because enterprises normally look at cybersecurity solutions in such a manner that they have to spend money somewhere, they have to deploy some software somewhere, but then basic cybersecurity hygiene principles are forgotten.
Okay.
And this is exactly where these things we notice. And I think if you focus on the basic stuff here, a lot of money and effort and time will be saved on part of your IT admin.
And goes without saying, you'll be not attacked.
Yeah, or the attacks will be less prevalent as before.
As before.
Not that it is not possible.
Okay, so issue number one, there's this company who has a software development wing. They do all the software development, use their source code repo as GitHub, or for that matter, any Git repository, that doesn't matter. Their pipeline of code checking out and going into the production server includes a method where they would clone the whole stuff and then put it onto the production server. One small mistake which happens with that is the .git directory in the GitHub gets copied and goes onto production server, and none of the people, neither the developer nor anybody in the whole chain understand the risk of it.
Now, one thing to note here is that this is not done deliberately. It is purely a process-related issue where nobody thought. Now, let's understand the background of this is that there is a company, or this company has grown organically over time, right? Now, the CI/CD pipeline may or may not have been modified in the whole process of setting the software out. So this is where the problem lies.
What is the problem of .git getting exposed?
The .git getting exposed, the .git file itself or the .git folder contains certain files that can have sensitive information about your entire coding environment.
And the whole code can be recreated out of that .git directory.
Correct.
So this company published, the attacker came in, just doing a regular internet scan. The attacker was able to identify that this particular website, which is a very popular one, so to say, has .git folders, downloaded it using Git dumper and Git
some tools, yeah, there's some tools
which they use to recreate the file,
right?
And in turn got the access key of S3 buckets, some of the AWS credentials, a lot of other secrets which are stored in that file.
Oh, even worse is they also had access to some other S3 bucket. S3 bucket ke andar there was somebody else's backup machine there. So somebody's backup also is exposed. Now you see people work on endpoint laptops and all those things. Now what happens here is you may have downloaded some information. Now this is a company that deals with handling some amount of personal data. So somebody's ID cards, passport information, some pictures, other such
Aadhaar card,
PAN card, these things are visible. Now this is by itself, it contains
PII.
It contains PII, yes. But in the grand scheme of things, this can be used to create a huge buzz in the market that, oh, this company has been hacked into and I have access to their personal information. And it is not the case actually.
And this could have been solved by one simple process. In the whole build process, instead of using git clone, if they had used git checkout, they would have not exported the whole .git directory coming out into the system, to their staging server, to their production server.
Right.
So the problem right now here is someone was not aware of the fact that how the git actually works, or rather what are the different commands where you have to use a right command instead of this particular set.
True.
To solve this problem.
And also the fact that there was no emphasis laid on improving this entire pipeline cycle. Software getting released,
whatever works,
whatever works,
don't touch.
More to the point, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Don't fix it. So whatever works, let it keep going that way. Do not look into it, and that was the problem. So that's what we saw one of the last week.
Right.
What is your story?
Password management. Very often we see this. Don't laugh, it is serious. I know you're going to go with this. So my point is, see, these passwords are lying exposed. Okay, so there's a company here and the admins, and there are 5 admins in this company. All 5 admins know all the passwords of all the users. I'll let that sink in for a minute. All 5 admins know all the passwords for all the users. Why? because they don't want to give users access to their email to be accessed from, say, your phone or laptop or from a remote device. They only want users to access email in the office premises. Okay, fine. But now, why do you need passwords for this? Secondly, these passwords are stored in an Excel sheet. This Excel sheet is then shared across the 5 admins in some shared folder or something like that. Now, it is also possible someone copies the Excel folder somewhere. The problem with this is you will never understand if something goes wrong. Who has done it? Is it admin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the user
himself?
Even worse, if there's a breach that has happened and the attacker has actually taken this data and actually gone and infiltrated the network, it can be the attacker also.
So there's no restriction on the, suppose the email thing, there is no restriction that from outside the organization the email cannot be accessed.
So see, somebody has enough incentive, they will break into it.
So it is not getting accessed right now because they don't know their password.
Exactly. So that's correct, and that is the problem. Users cannot access email outside the network because they don't know the authentication credentials. Now, if this data is leaked from here, you have access to.
So the attacker can still access, right?
Right.
An attacker doesn't have any restriction per se that they cannot access it from the outside.
Attacker doesn't have any restriction if the file is exposed. I mean, technically, the user also has no restriction, but the password is not known. Now, if this file is exposed,
so this company has a legit requirement. They don't want the email to be accessed from outside, not on the phones, only the desktops inside the premises.
Correct.
And then because the admin is going and typing in the password, what is the solution for that?
So it's a manufacturing firm. So they have an OT environment and they have an IT environment. The OT environment will have some situation where there's a shift manager and they work 24/7, so the password cannot be given to 5 people, and that whole thing is there, which is fine. Now you don't want to share the password over there. Okay. What about the IT environment? Now in the IT environment there are people who are, say, old, or they don't want to deal with these things. They're not security proficient, or they're not IT proficient only. They're not even tech savvy. So what do you do in those things? The solution here is, number one is that you can restrict your attack surface, your threat vector basically, in a manner that instead of knowing the passwords for all X amount of users, take it for X minus Y amount of users.
Or why even that?
Why even that? That is one way. See, one thing is security versus usability. You cannot stop the business. You're right. Why even that? They can do that to shorten this thing. Second way is the O365 admin itself. Go there, set the password. If somebody forgets their password for whatever reason, go there, reset the password, and that's
type in the new
type in the password, and that's it.
Forget it. Why do you have to keep it in an Excel file?
Exactly.
So,
because problem here is these passwords also do not get changed. Is there a change password that happens? See, these same 5 admins change their passwords on a weekly basis. Their passwords.
But what about the Excel sheet password?
So Excel sheet passwords are aligned this or that. So how does that work out?
And strange, but they need that kind of an environment. They need that kind of a work that, okay, my email should not be accessed from outside. There are other better controls they can put that the email tenant is not accessible outside of a particular IP range. Third story of this interesting week which we had, a company is working as a software development firm for another company which is based out of Singapore, is in healthcare industry, very well regulated, and a lot of strict environment is created. This client has a well managed data center solution with a lot of monitoring and activity happening around. So they know if something goes wrong anywhere. Very good, as we expect from everyone.
The Singapore one?
Yeah.
Okay.
This software development company has a role where a lady in the team, her role is to basically do the maintenance services on the server.
Was this lady actually pushing the code forward, or was she?
So her role included push the code, do the software maintenance, do the database backup, DR test, all server side ops activities.
Okay.
This lady is on a maternity leave. A new person has been appointed onto that task, but there is a process delay. The new person's request has been gone to the Singapore-based company that, okay, please give a VPN account to this person, please give access to all of this, and so that he can work on it.
Right.
But the process is taking time and the work has to be done immediately.
Right. Which is always the case.
So this new engineer, he logs onto the server using her VPN credentials and gets into it.
Ek minute. This person logs in using somebody else's credentials.
So first of all,
So was there a consent somewhere involved?
Oh yeah, consent was there.
Oh, consent was there.
Yes.
Okay, good. Not good, but still good.
Okay. To the surprise, this VPN was a multi-factor authenticated VPN. So when this person logs onto the VPN agent, it pops up for the multi-factor authentication. This guy gives a call to the lady.
Lady.
The lady gives the two-factor authentication, and he types it and successfully goes in.
Till this point, it's still fine. There is consent involved with the know-how of people, from what you said.
Right.
Which is still fine now.
But what is not right that somebody else's account is
Correct.
used,
That's a
but
given. Yeah, that's it.
The interesting parts come now. This person, instead of firing up the Chrome browser, as a habit, fires up the Tor browser.
So for the uninitiated, what is a Tor browser?
Chrome browser is a regular browser you have. The Tor browser is a customized version of a browser which is used to access Tor networks, where Tor has a nomenclature, or Tor has a reputation that it is used more majorly for the darknet activities. This person who accessed it has done it just out of curiosity. Okay, he has this Tor browser, he plays around with it.
Why was this Tor browser on this endpoint in the first place?
The company didn't have any of these restrictions that what can go there, what cannot go. So we being a small software development firm, this boy was curious and installed Tor browser to access things on Tor and non-Tor and want to see around. And
so learning
could be learning.
Okay.
Benefit of doubt, there was nothing wrong intended. True. But this person accidentally clicked on the Tor browser. The Tor got connected. Tor made a request to the Tor exit node. The Tor exit node traffic was being monitored by the Singapore healthcare company. And with that, an alert fired out that, okay, somebody is trying to access a Tor network from the VPN closed group secure network. And
I'm going to guess that given it's a regulated healthcare environment, this alert that flagged,
it went so bad, that a lot of people got involved. The CEO of this software development firm, the tech team of that side, the business team of that side, so much so that they are on the verge of planning to cancel the outsourcing to this particular company.
So this basically point is just a simple judgment error or force of habit has caused this issue.
At the same time, you have to remember that you're trying to access a regulated environment, client environment. You have to be very safe on that.
Correct.
So your work environment has to be configured in a manner that you're not having any unnecessary software, unnecessary connection going out, behaving in a right expected manner.
So this is exactly where it stems from. Half of cybersecurity is based on practices. It is just a matter of culture. You can put 10,000 controls there, you can put 10,000 applications, SaaS platforms, monitoring tools, but it comes down to PEPCAC. PEBCAK. Problem exists between chair and keyboard.
So that came in, the human issue came in. Lack of awareness, lack of sensitization of the team, that what you should do, what you should not do, how do you behave in a casual network versus how do you behave in a development network versus how do you behave in an environment which is a client environment, and it led to that situation.
So how could this have been prevented in the first place now? Or okay, he's using Tor, fine. How could this entire situation have been not have happened in the first place?
First thing first, make a proper user awareness training that Tor browser is not allowed on your office provided equipment.
It's okay to say it is not provided or it's not allowed.
It's not allowed.
One thing is, then how was it there?
Because there was no controls on top of it. So then you can have some kind of control utilities.
Right.
As simple as a secure web gateway will also keep looking what kind of applications are creating traffic and receive that.
But that is
at least alert the administrator that you should not have this tool on your machine.
And this is at least at the network level.
See, the problem is, again, now this company, to its defense, the company is saying, oh, we are a very small team, we are a 40 people company, we don't have a policy, we don't have a infrastructure, we can't afford those kind of softwares. Fair enough. But at least this company can have process, knowledge, awareness that this is allowed versus this is not allowed. And that could have,
and that is free.
And that's free for 5 people company and 5,000 people company.
Exactly. That's just another way what I think of is, okay, see, when such small companies are there, right, they also focus on educational learning. You come and tell, you know what, I want to learn something. Now, even in how we work, right, I want to learn something. Okay, go to this link over here, or register this portal, or download some software like this over here. Fine. but do it with the knowledge and approval of your management. Tell the IT team this is there
or in a controlled
in a
environment.
controlled environment. They may even give you an access to a VM or tell you how to use it properly. They will tell you, okay, you know what? One way to avoid this, if the guy knew what he was doing, he could have used it disconnected from the VPN. Then use Tor browser. It will get
So because he was so habituated, he just double clicked the Tor
exactly,
browser and the Tor browser fired up.
exactly.
That instance could lead to a business loss flat on.
I mean, look at the consequence here. We know we talk in cybersecurity of consequences of your share price dropping and reputation and
The deal is
business
going down.
loss and all these things. This is a real life incident, a simple situation which could have been completely avoided. In fact, all these three stories are completely avoidable.
These are all avoidable with basic awareness and
Basic
basic
awareness.
cybersecurity hygiene if followed.
Correct. The lesson from this is industry standard practices need not involve money. They can be free.
They can be free.
So with that learning, cheers. See you another time.
See you in the next video.